Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at Field Agent.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, cool. So basically, it's this app that you can use to make some extra money on the side by completing like quick tasks, doing some mystery shopping, or taking surveys,
Yeah, sounds pretty cool.
all through your phone.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. We actually have some excerpts from their official guide, like all the tips and tricks you need.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully by the end of this, we'll both be Field Agent pros.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So what's really interesting is it's not like your typical gig work.
How so?
Well, you get to pick and choose like the missions that you want to do.
Oh, so you have control over it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool.
So where do we even begin?
Well, the guide starts with getting set up to earn. And thankfully, there's no background check.
That's awesome. So you can jump right in.
Exactly. You can get started really quickly. But there is a catch.
Oh no. What is it?
Your job score.
Job score.
Yeah. Think of it like your reputation on the platform. It's based on accuracy, following instructions, and hitting those deadlines.
So it's not just about speed. It's about like doing a good job those first few times to boost your score.
Precisely. A high score unlocks higher paying gigs with less competition,
Oh, so like you level up.
basically.
Okay, gotcha. So how do we even find these awesome gigs?
Well, the guide has a whole section on the job hunt,
Okay.
and being strategic is key.
They say.
In what way?
Well, don't just look at the payout.
Right.
You got to consider the hourly rate.
Okay.
So you need to factor in travel time and like cluster jobs by location.
Oh, so if I'm like running errands, I should try to like snag some missions in the same area.
Exactly. The guide even gives a great example, like hitting multiple tasks at the same store.
Oh, so you're already there. Might as well.
Exactly. Imagine that efficiency.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Also, weekends and evenings tend to be prime time.
Why is that?
The guide says that grocery stores often restock on weekends, which leads to a spike in those product audit missions.
Oh, so more people shopping means more data needed. Yeah. More missions for us.
Gotcha. Okay. So we found the mission. Now, how do we succeed?
Well, the guide is super clear about this one.
Okay.
Following instructions is crucial.
Oh, okay.
It's almost like a scientific formula.
Interesting.
One wrong move and the experiment fails.
So we can't just wing it.
No, not if you want to be successful.
Okay.
Speaking of details, the guide also has a whole section on photo tips.
Okay.
Lighting and angles are everything.
So important.
For example, let's say you're doing a product audit. A blurry picture and bad lighting. That's an almost guaranteed rejection.
Yeah, makes sense.
But a clear shot of the product on the shelf with good lighting, that's what clients want to see.
Yeah, presentation matters.
It really does.
Okay. But what if, despite our best efforts, we still get rejected?
Rejections are part of the process,
Yeah.
especially when you're starting out.
Yeah, sure.
The key is to not get discouraged,
Right.
but to use that feedback to improve.
So how do we learn from those rejections? What does the guide say?
First, carefully review the feedback given. Did you miss a crucial detail in the instructions?
Okay.
Were the photos blurry or taken from the wrong angle?
Right.
You need to figure out what went wrong so you
Oh.
can correct it next time.
Gotcha. So it's like analyzing our mistakes.
Yeah, and refining our approach.
Okay. Makes sense. But what about like leveling up our earnings? Any secrets in the guide about that?
Well, it's not just about doing more jobs.
Right.
It's about working smarter.
Okay.
The guide stresses understanding the client's needs.
Okay.
You're providing valuable data, not just taking pictures for fun.
So it's like we're partners in their success.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. But before we get too excited about all this earning potential, we got to talk about the less glamorous side.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Hey, taxes.
Right. As independent contractors, we're responsible for our own taxes.
Ugh, I know.
And the guide makes it very clear. Detailed record keeping is crucial.
So track everything.
Everything. Track your earnings, but also every expense.
Yeah.
Mileage for driving to jobs. Even a portion of your phone bill, since you're using it for work.
So we need a good spreadsheet.
Yeah. Or an expense tracking app.
That's a good idea.
And don't forget about those quarterly estimated taxes.
Oh, yeah, those are fun.
They're a whole different ballgame compared to traditional employment.
Right.
So staying on top of those payments is crucial to avoid any penalties.
Definitely don't want to do that. The guide even recommends consulting a tax professional, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At least initially, to make sure you're doing everything correctly.
Yeah. Especially if you're new to all this self-employment stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah,
It can be pretty overwhelming.
for sure. So we've talked about how Field Agent can fit into a multi-gig lifestyle,
Yeah.
but how do you actually manage that juggling act effectively?
It takes some serious planning and time management skills.
Right, like any side hustle.
Exactly. The guide suggests looking for those natural gaps in your other work and slotting in field agent missions strategically.
So if you're like a rideshare driver, you might check the app for missions near your current location while waiting for your next passenger.
Precisely. Or if you're doing food deliveries, you might scope out nearby stores that frequently have field agent tasks.
Makes sense. So it's all about that strategic planning.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's also about setting realistic expectations and not overcommitting.
Definitely. You don't want to burn yourself out
Exactly. Make sure you have ample time to complete all your gigs successfully,
and meet those deadlines.
especially those deadlines. Some missions have deadlines as short as 2 hours.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah. So planning is crucial. Prioritize jobs with the shortest deadlines.
Right?
Factor in travel time, and even consider potential delays like traffic or difficulty finding specific products in the store.
Yeah, that's smart. So
Yeah.
work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. Don't procrastinate, and keep in mind that missing a deadline not only means you miss out on payment,
Right.
but it can also negatively impact your job score.
Ouch. Double whammy. Okay, so deadlines are serious business.
Very serious.
Got it. Now, what about data usage? Uploading all those photos and videos must eat up a lot of data.
It can, especially if you're doing a lot of missions with photo or video requirements.
Right.
The guide recommends using Wi-Fi whenever possible for submitting reports, especially those with lots of media.
That's a smart move. So mapping out free Wi-Fi hotspots along your field agent route could be a valuable strategy.
Absolutely. Or make sure you have a generous data plan on your phone if relying on Wi-Fi isn't always feasible.
Yeah, good point. Remember, completing a mission successfully requires a successful upload.
Exactly. You don't want to do all that work for nothing.
Okay, listeners, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our field agent deep dive. We've explored everything from getting started and mastering missions to navigating the world of self-employment taxes.
We've really gotten the nitty-gritty.
But there's more. In our next part, we'll explore even more tips and strategies for maximizing your success as a field agent.
We'll delve deeper into those nuances of the platform.
So don't go anywhere. The most exciting part of our deep dive is yet to come.
Definitely buckle up.
Welcome back to our field agent deep dive. We left off talking about how field agent can fit into a multi-gig life. But let's circle back to maximizing those earnings. The guide really stresses understanding why companies use field agent in the first place. What do you think about that?
It's a really important point. It's easy to get caught up in just doing the tasks. But if you understand the bigger picture, it can make you a more valuable agent.
How so?
Well, companies use field agent because they need real-time data. About their products, their marketing displays, even their customer service.
Okay.
They need people on the ground to gather this information. And that's where we come in.
So it's not just about snapping pics for a few bucks.
Right. We're actually contributing to important business decisions.
That's kind of cool.
It is. Like imagine you're doing a shelf audit for a new energy drink. Your photos and reports are helping that company make sure that their product is being displayed correctly, stocked properly, and priced competitively.
Wow.
You're directly impacting their sales and marketing strategy.
I never thought of it that way. That definitely makes the work feel more meaningful.
Exactly.
But let's be realistic, rejections happen. What are some specific ways the guide recommends learning from them?
Well, the first thing is, don't let them discourage you. They're part of the process, especially when you're starting out.
Right.
The key is to carefully review the feedback. Were your photos blurry? Did you miss a key detail in the instructions?
Okay.
You need to pinpoint what went wrong so you can avoid it in the future.
So it's about turning those rejections into learning opportunities.
Exactly.
But what if you truly believe a rejection was unfair? Like a technical glitch or something?
In those cases, the guide recommends contacting field agent support.
Okay.
Explain the situation calmly and professionally and provide any evidence you have, like screenshots or photos.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty good about resolving issues fairly.
Good to know. Okay, let's face the music and talk about taxes.
Hmm.
As independent contractors, we're on our own. What advice does the guide offer about navigating this confusing territory?
The guide really stresses the importance of record keeping. Track every single penny you earn and every expense related to your work.
Every penny.
That includes mileage for driving to jobs and even a portion of your phone bill, since you're using it for work purposes.
So we're going to become best friends with spreadsheets and receipts.
Pretty much. Or you can find a good expense tracking app that simplifies things.
Okay.
And don't forget about those quarterly estimated taxes. It's a whole new ballgame compared to traditional employment.
Right.
Staying on top of those payments is crucial to avoid any penalties.
Definitely. The guide even recommends consulting with a tax professional, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Especially when you're first starting out. Navigating self-employment taxes can be tricky, and having expert guidance can save you a lot of headaches.
Yeah, it sounds like it's worth it. Okay, so we've covered taxes. Now let's talk about staying up to date with Field Agent itself. Did they update their policies or the app frequently?
They do. The guide recommends checking for app updates regularly, since they often include bug fixes, performance improvements, and even new features that can make things easier and potentially even boost your earnings.
Makes sense.
They also advise checking the terms of service every once in a while, just in case there are any big changes.
So staying informed is part of being a successful field agent.
Definitely.
Okay, we talked earlier about how field agent can complement other gigs. But how do you actually manage that juggling act effectively? It seems like it takes some serious planning and time management skills.
You're absolutely right. Strategic scheduling and time management are essential when you're juggling multiple gigs. The guide suggests looking for those natural gaps in your other work and slotting in field agent missions strategically.
Okay, so like if you're a rideshare driver, you might check the app for missions near your current location while waiting for your next passenger.
Exactly. Or if you're doing food deliveries, you might scope out nearby stores that frequently have field agent tasks. The key is to not overcommit and make sure you have enough time to complete all your gigs successfully.
Makes sense. Speaking of time, the guide also stresses the importance of time management when it comes to meeting those mission deadlines. Some missions have deadlines as short as 2 hours, right?
That's right. And that's why planning is so crucial. You need to prioritize jobs with shortest deadlines and factor in travel time, and even consider potential delays like traffic or having trouble finding a specific product.
Yeah, you don't want to be running around the store at the last minute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, missing a deadline not only means you don't get paid, but it can also hurt your job score.
Ouch. So time management is the ultimate superpower for a field agent.
I think so.
Okay, what about data usage? Uploading all those photos and videos must eat up a lot of data. We talked about using Wi-Fi whenever possible, but what other advice does the guide offer for managing data consumption, especially for those data-heavy missions?
Well, one thing they suggest is to be mindful of the image quality settings in your phone's camera. Sometimes reducing the resolution a little bit can really reduce the file size without sacrificing too much decay.
Oh, that's smart.
And when you're submitting reports, especially those with lots of photos or videos, make sure you're not accidentally uploading duplicates.
Oh, yeah, good point. Okay, listeners, we've covered a lot of ground in this second part of our Field Agent Deep Dive. We've explored everything from understanding client needs to managing taxes as an independent contractor, and even maximizing your time by strategically combining Field Agent with other gigs.
We've really delved deeper into those nuances of the platform.
But there's more. In our final part, we'll explore some advanced strategies and considerations for truly leveling up your Field Agent game.
We'll uncover those hidden gems of wisdom that can help you become a true Field Agent Pro.
So don't go anywhere. The most exciting part of our deep dive is yet to come. Welcome back, Field Agent fans. It's time for the final part of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground so far, getting started mastering missions, taxes, but now we're moving into advanced territory, the stuff that separates the pros from the casual earners. What does the guide have to say about taking things to the next level?
This last section focuses on something you might not expect.
Oh, what's that?
Building relationships with store staff.
Really? I was thinking more like, secret handshakes with managers to unlock special missions.
Haha, not quite. It's not about getting favors. It's more about being a familiar face, a respectful presence.
Okay.
Be polite to employees. Don't block the aisles.
Yeah.
And if they ask what you're doing, just explain you're gathering data for market research.
Keep it simple. So be friendly but professional.
Exactly. Don't overstay your welcome.
But how does this actually help us as field agents?
It's about making the whole thing smoother, more efficient.
Okay.
Familiar faces are less likely to raise suspicion. And you never know. A good rapport might lead to helpful tips, like where to find a specific product.
Oh, that's a good point. But the guide also says our main focus should be on doing the job, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Building relationships is a bonus, not the goal.
Right. We're there to work.
And doing it well is what gets you more opportunities.
Speaking of opportunities, the guide also talks about combining field agent with other gigs.
Right. That's a big one for multi-gig workers.
How do we actually make that juggling act work?
It's all about finding those little pockets of downtime in your other work.
Okay.
And fitting in missions strategically. Like say you're a rideshare driver.
Yeah.
Instead of scrolling on your phone while you wait for a passenger,
Right.
why not check the app? See if there are missions nearby.
Makes every minute count.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're doing food deliveries,
Yeah.
you could check out stores along your route that often have tasks.
That's smart. So it's all about planning ahead.
It really is.
Yeah.
And setting realistic goals, don't overcommit.
Right. Make sure you have time for everything.
And speaking of time, those deadlines. Some missions have crazy short turnaround times.
Yeah, like 2 hours.
Exactly. So you got to be organized.
Yeah.
Check the deadline before accepting anything.
Right.
Factor in travel time delays, like
Yep.
traffic, or even trouble finding a product in the store.
Don't want to be searching for hot sauce at the last second.
No, you don't. And remember, missing a deadline not only means you don't get paid,
Yeah.
but it can hurt your job score.
Oof. So yeah, time management is key.
It's essential.
Now, for a more technical question, data usage. All those photos and videos must use a lot of data.
They can. Especially the missions with lots of media.
Right. We talked about Wi-Fi, but any other advice?
The guide says to check the image quality settings in your camera.
Okay.
Sometimes lowering the resolution a bit can save a lot of data without losing too much detail.
That's a good tip.
And when you're submitting reports, especially with lots of photos,
Yeah.
double check you're not uploading duplicates.
Easy mistake to make.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what really stood out to you from the guide?
One thing that stuck with me was the bigger picture.
How so?
Field agent isn't just about making a few bucks. We're actually part of how businesses get information and make decisions.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It is. We're like secret agents of market research.
I like that. And on that note, we've reached the end of our field agent deep dive.
I hope this has given you the knowledge and strategies to succeed.
Remember, it's all about accuracy, efficiency, and planning ahead.
And who knows, maybe you'll become a field agent superstar.
Go out there and crush those missions. We'll be here rooting for you.
Good luck.
Thanks for joining us on this journey. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive into the world of side hustles.